Alright guys, so I'm going to start with a 14-inch wreath frame. I do get mine from Dollar Tree, though they are hard to find. I try to order them online as much as I can, or I grab multiples when I am in the store, but Walmart does have 14-inch frames for a decent price if you can't get your hands on one at Dollar Tree. So the first thing I do is I start by putting my pipe cleaners onto my frame. Now I put just a few on. I ended up using 21 on the outside and 11 on the inside. But by putting a few, I'm able to slide them back and forth and add them as I need them with this particular style. The first thing you do is take your mesh and kind of bundle it up a little bit and secure it to the frame using your pipe cleaner. Now you can work to the left or to the right, it really doesn't matter. Then you're going to create loops. Now depending upon how close you want these together is going to depend upon how many pipe cleaners you need. But you're just going to play with it a little bit, see how puffy you want it or how close together you want it. It's going to change the design, so just play with it a little bit to see what you're liking for that particular wreath. Just puff them up. You know, I decided that I liked mine closer together with this particular design. So I'm going to go ahead and lightly secure my pipe cleaners down. You don't want to completely tighten them yet, but you just want to lightly tighten so that way they're not moving as you are pushing and pulling your other loops that you are creating. And you're just going to continue this process all the way around the bottom of your wreath frame, continuing to lightly tighten. Also, just make sure you're keeping your puffs or poofs the same size and continuing to adjust throughout, and that's going to help keep your wreath symmetrical. Okay guys, so I ended up using pretty much a whole roll on the outside, so I'm going to have to go get another roll out of my craft bin for the inside, and I will let you know total how much mesh I used. But I'm at the end here, and I don't obviously want a gap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a loop that I could kind of just tuck in there to hide this pipe cleaner and then that pipe cleaner. And I'm just going to use my start point as my end point as well. Okay, so before I go and I cut anything, I am going to go ahead and create that loop and make sure that I'm making it big enough. And you're going to want to leave a tail because you're going to kind of tuck that under so you're not seeing anything. It's hard to explain, but I'm going to do my best once I've figured out the size and the shape. And if you like really crinkle this stuff up and like crunch it, you'll get a different kind of design, which is kind of what I started doing throughout it to kind of keep everything from looking symmetrical. I kind of wanted the white to kind of move around instead of just a line. So feel free to like really crinkle this jute. It's called jute twine. Some people call it mesh burlap, but it's very, very moldable. I love this stuff. I'm going to cut about here. Okay. And I'm going to take this tail piece. I'm going to kind of tuck it under. So it sits in there. You don't really see it. And you kind of just wiggle it all around until you've got it situated the way you want. So it's covering both pipe cleaners basically, and then you take the pipe cleaner. You can't see it because it's hiding inside. Like what I'm doing is I've folded it over so that tail is like right there, and I'm taking the beginning pipe cleaner and I'm kind of weaving it inside there, pulling it down and tightening it a few times so it's really on there, and then you pull it down through the bottom of the frame and you secure it down. Okay, so here is what the packaging looks like at Dollar General. It is 20 feet, so I'm probably not going to use this whole thing because the 25-foot mesh that I had from Dollar General for my Thanksgiving wreath did the whole entire wreath. I think that extra 5 feet is what I'm missing. So you are going to need 2 rolls if it's less than 25, I'm assuming. I always buy 2 rolls of every color just to be on the safe side because sometimes, you know, sometimes machines mess up. And I'd prefer to have more than less. So that's what the packaging looks like. I have a hard time finding this. I was only able to get my hands on 2 rolls, so hopefully you guys can get your hands on it, or you can check online. There's a lot of mesh sellers out there that'll have similar designs. So now I'm just going to do the same thing I did on the outside, working my way on the inside. Okay. And then as I'm working on the inner piece, I like to take the inner piece and kind of just start pulling and like weaving them together so that way it creates this really whimsical design. One thing I will mention is that you want to make sure, if you don't want to do spiral fillers, which I will talk about later, that you are creating the loops close enough together to hide the pipe cleaners. That is very, very important. Otherwise, they are going to see them when it's hanging on your door, and we don't want that. So keep those loops close together. While I'm working on this, I do want to add that you can just use 1 roll of mesh. Just don't put them as close together, and then you can make spiral fillers to hide your pipe cleaners. My friend actually did that and it came out gorgeous. I'm going to go ahead and add that photo so you guys can see what it looks like with how she did it with the spiral fillers, using the same technique, just not putting them as close together. She kind of spaced them out a little bit more so you can see the difference, and then that way you're not having to go buy multiple rolls of this. And it's just another example of how someone can take, you know, my tutorial and turn it into something else. So she basically combined this one and the spiral fillers I've done in the past to create her wreath. And to end the inside, it's just repeating what you did on the outside. It's very simple. Once you get the hang of it, it just may take you a couple of tries. For the end, all you're going to do is take each one of those things, pull them tightly to the frame. You're going to twist and twist. You can cut these off if they're too long for you. It's really up to you. But I like to twist them all together. Then I kind of just pull the end pieces. You want to pull them in because you don't want them scratching your wall, your door, whatever you are attaching them to. And then I just wrap it around the frame and tuck those sharp end pieces inside. Before I like to tighten everything and finish it up and secure it, I do like to go through and just make sure that it's sitting at least the way that I want. And then once it's secure, I go back through and I re-fluff it and readjust it a little bit. But you just want to make sure that as you're tightening it, you're pulling it in the direction that you want the mesh to go. That's what your back looks like, so it's not going to look super crazy. If you do use colors that kind of blend in a little bit better, it's going to look cleaner on the back. I go ahead and start fluffing my wreath and adjusting things. I don't like when the loops kind of, the edges, I guess, show. That bothers me. So that's when I kind of just try to tuck them as much as I can. Sometimes, you know, it's unavoidable and you end up with the edges out, but I try to hide those as much as I possibly can. I'm just going to play with some decor that I have. I got these at Walmart and they are awesome because they've got the alligator clips. Boop, boop. So you could just clip them on and it makes things easy. There it is. There is my rustic wreath. Now there is an empty space here and I plan to go and get either something that says Merry Christmas or our initial, some sort of word or initial or something's gonna go there. I would go get another one of these bells, but I feel like putting 4 there might be a little bit too much. I don't know. That isn't also an option. So I may go ahead and get a few more of these little bell things and see if I like how that looks. I might just go get one because then I can use it on my rustic candy cane wreath I plan to make. So I have a few options. I'm not sure which way I'm going to go, but that is why there's a blank space here. I plan to do something with it. But I figured I would just share that with you. That's personal choice, whether you would want all 4 of the bells or you would like the initial. I would do ribbon, but I feel like ribbon will be too much with everything that's going on. I think just using a word or another bell mistletoe decor would be better. But I like to work in odd numbers, so most likely I'm going to be just getting an initial or Merry Christmas or whatever I can find for this wreath. So that's going to be it, guys. Hope you like it. Bye!